Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Excuse me. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. An Anas ibn Malik yuhaddithu ar-Rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam qala akrimu awladakum wa ahsinu adabahum. This is Hadith number 15. The topic is respect your children and give them the best education. The translation in English of this Hadith, narrated by Hazrat Anas bin Malik, Allah be pleased with him, said to the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, respect your children and cultivate in them the best manners. Ibn Majah. La traduction en français, reportée par Hazrat Anas bin Malik, Razila Ta'ala Anhu, dit le prophète d'Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, respectez vos enfants et cultivez en eux les meilleures manières. Ibn Majah. Tarjuma. Hazrat Anas bin Malik रज़ियल्लाहु ताला अन्हु बयान करते हैं कि मैंने रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम को ये फरमाते सुना है कि आपने औलाद की भी इज्जत किया करो और इनकी तरबियत को बेहतरीन कालिब में डालने की कोशिश करो. Under the explanatory note, it says that Islam has defined the rights of parents over children and vice versa. On the one hand, it emphasizes service and respectful behavior to parents, and on the other, commands parents to treat their children with due understanding and regard, and to handle them in such a way as engenders in them feelings of dignity and self-respect, and to attend to their education and training in particular, so that when they grow, they may observe with due propriety their duties to God and to His servants and become pioneers of national progress. The truth is that no nation can make any progress, nay, no nation can escape degradation if its members do not leave behind their children in circumstances better than their own. If every father was to see to it that he will leave his children better off than himself, both in knowledge and in practice, the nation must gain from strength to strength and will, by the grace of God, remain immune to the danger of decline. But it is a pity that most of the parents disregard this golden principle, with the result that many children, far from being better off than their parents, are brought up in such a condition as to give the impression of a dead baby having been born to a live person. Such parents feed and dress their children well, and to some extent also mind their secular education, as it provides them with means of economic well-being, but they generally disregard their moral discipline as if it were something unimportant. On the contrary, moral training or discipline is infinitely more important than secular education, and certainly has a greater moral value and status. An educationally less qualified but morally better disciplined person endowed with qualities of industry, truthfulness, honesty, self-sacrifice, and pleasing manners is far superior to the man carrying the donkey load of knowledge, but totally bereft of qualities of moral excellence. In the Holy Quran, the injunction, slay not your children, which is mentioned in two areas of the Quran, hints at the truth that if you ignore inculcating of good moral qualities among your children and neglect their educational equipment, you will be virtually committing their murder. Another portion of this hadith, the one relating to respect to children, if of all the religious codes, the distinctive feature of Islam, for no other religion of the world has appreciated the point that without showing a proper measure of respect to children, high moral qualities could not be cultivated among them. Some foolish parents, in spite of loving their children, treat them evidently in such a low and vulgar manner, frequently indulging in abusive language, that their feelings of dignity, self-respect, and self-estimation slowly freeze into death. This injunction of our Master, may my soul be dedicated to his service, is worthy of being written in gold letters. It enjoins that children should be treated with considerateness so as to equip them with dignity, self-respect, and high moral qualities. Would that they valued this wise teaching. So this is one of the very important hadiths. It's very small, but it carries so much weight that it, as Hazrat Mirza Bashir Ahmed Rizal Talanho has said, that this is one of the distinctive features of Islam, that it, among all religions, it is the one that talks about showing respect to children. And this is the very basic ground on which the civilization or the nation can be strengthened, is if the children are shown respect, because they grow up to be very strong in moral qualities. But if you lack respecting your children, then they won't have the self-respect, and they won't have strong moral qualities and dignity. And this is the basic principle for which we should start with training our children. And secondly, it mentions about another very important aspect about which that not just education is important, but moral training is important. That is that we should, it is actually more important for the moral training than just focusing on the educational, because what will happen is that no matter how much education someone may have, if they don't have the moral training, they may misuse and abuse. And we can see now and today, wherever we go, whether we're living in this democratic, peaceful country, if there are no moralities, no matter how much the businessman or the industry or the government has a knowledge of their respective fields, they will misuse and abuse people, and the people of society will go down further and further, and so they'll contribute it into the degradation of the society. But if that same relatively lesser educated child is there in society, but has a very strong self-respect and high morals, and no matter where they are, even if they're in the same fields, but they're not of so high education, they will definitely bring about a greater effect on the society, and people will not feel that they're unjustly treated, and the society will better by it, and the society will actually be much more successful and much more benefited by that individual's training, or that child which you've trained. So may Allah help us to understand this and gain benefit by these wonderful teachings that were given to us by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid.